Okay, we'll go right into questions for Coach. Questions?
Fran, did you know that they were going to be taking some time? Do you think they'd be taking some time off after Jared's shot? Is that the indication you got when you're in the huddle?
The only indication I got was that they were going to look at it. You know, I did the math in my head. I remember when, when we got the rebound, I looked, it was like a two-plus second differential, and we shot it near the end of the shot clock. And I looked up there and saw 6.1. I knew that wasn't right. I didn't know what the number was. But, I'm a graduate of the Wharton School of Business, and I can add 6.1 was not the right number.
You had a big lead in the second half, and then Minnesota made that run and came back. What did you think happened in that run?
Well, they're tough to guard off the dribble. When they go small, they got three drivers, and then Morris is a fourth driver. We didn't do a good job guarding dribble penetration at all. And they really weren't making threes, but you knew this is a very good three-point shooting team. Sooner or later, they were going to hit some threes, and then, once they got the momentum, then they were drilling them. And so, it's tough when you're trying to stop the run, and they were coming at us. You got to give them credit. I mean, those kids kept coming. They were sharing the ball. It was different guys. We obviously got enough stops to win, but we didn't get a lot.
How important do you think it was for your team? They've had some tough second halves as recently as Michigan State. Looked like a repeat, but they fought that off down the stretch and made the plays to win.
Well, it wasn't a repeat in the sense that, we took a lead to 17, I think it was 17, 16 or 17. So the other games, it's been in the beginning of the second half. But again, we softened a little bit defensively. We just softened enough. We were changing defenses to try to keep them off balance. And to their credit, they effectively attacked the different defenses we were in, whether it's 1-3-1, whether it's 2-3 zone, whether it's man-to-man, whether it's any kind of pressure. They moved the ball, and they didn't get impatient. And, so it's a credit to those guys that they did that.
You look at what Utah was able to do late in the game, and then, of course, his shot. I mean, he's been playing really well lately, but it seems that really, when you needed him the most, he came through for you.
Yeah, I mean, he, and it's one of those things, he had a small one on him. He could, we kept going to him. I mean, we're giving up something at the other end because we're big and they're small and quick. So the only thing we got to make him pay at the other end. We were going to him, and he could get his shot off on, pretty much any one of those guys who was guarding him. So it's a tough call because, it looked probably from their bench like their offense was going to get them home. They erase a 17-point lead and go up 4. You feel like, okay, we're in good position. The only thing we had to keep going inside. We went inside to Woody, Whitey, and Jared in those situations.
Did you watch it live? Do you think Matthew beat the clock on that last layup there?
Like when it happened, I didn't notice. I was upset with how we guarded the play, so I really wasn't thinking about whether is it good or not good. I mean, he's pretty fast, and it's typically 3 dribbles in a shot. I think he took more than 3 dribbles. So they called it no good, and then they reviewed it. It was no good. So I can only assume it was no good. But kid made a heck of a play. I mean, you gotta give that kid credit. I mean, we try to put 2 guys on him, and that's how difficult he is to get under control. Because Clemens came up on him, if you remember, and he wanted to jam him, but I mean, the last thing you want to do with a 2-point lead is foul a guy 70 feet from the basket, especially a good foul shooter like Matthew. So then he got out of his way. Now it's like, okay, hopefully somebody will block it. But the difficulty there is, and with 3.5, it's not as much of a factor. You're worried about throwing the ball to somebody and shoot a 3, and then you lose by 1.
When after you were up 17, they scored on 15 of 17 possessions. A lot of threes in there. Do you think your defense got, you said you got a little soft. Do you think it was on the defensive end where you got soft, or were they just making shots?
You know, I thought we were softer than we needed to be. I thought there was a little bit of fatigue there. I was trying to rotate some fresh bodies and trying to get some better matchups. And I was trying in that stretch to figure out, are we better in man or zone? And it didn't really come clear to me. It seemed like neither one was working during that stretch. The only thing you look at then sometimes is, are they at least taking longer to score? But, you know, they scored at the end of the shot clock, seemingly, you know, more than a few times. And, you know, I challenged Gabe, one of the later timeouts. I said, you know, somebody's got to block a shot here. And they're taking the ball right to the rim. I mean, if you look at, they make threes and they score in the paint. It's Walker and layups at the rim. They're good at it. So somebody's got to block a shot, and, you know, you could argue that was as big a defensive stop as we had all game, is when he blocked the one layup.
Do you think your team seems like it plays a little more calm or something on the road? Obviously 3-0 in true road games out of North Carolina, Ohio State, and now this one.
You know, I think we play pretty calm. I mean, we're kind of a calm bunch. You know, we're not a overly emotional group. We've got enough upperclassmen. You know, we don't typically rattle. You know, that's why, yeah, you know, I thought our defense softened a little bit, but, you know, everybody always gets up there in these situations, talking about, we didn't do this and we should have done that. You know, at some point, you got to give your opponent some credit for what they did. I mean, they could have panicked and they didn't. They executed and they drove the ball and they kept possession when they didn't have anything going, and they worked the end of the shot clock, which is tough sometimes, because when you're behind, you tend to panic and to jack one, and they didn't do that. And then they found open three-point shooters when we got rotated wrong. And so it came down to, you know, we had to fight in those last 4 minutes. So I'm really proud of how we did that.
You know, you look at, Iowa as a program has struggled to win close, you know, games right at the buzzer for several years, been in position many times. I think this is a over-the-hump kind of thing. Now they have a fresh mindset that they've done it in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I think anytime you hit a shot like that, I mean, it's got to make Jared feel good. It's got to make the guys feel good. They executed the play to perfection. You know, a lot of times, you know, some guy had a big shot, and they'll say to the coach, hey, what did you diagram? And, you know, usually it's not that. I just called a play, they ran it and scored on it. And so you're always proud of your guys when they do that. But the reality is somebody's got to make that shot. You can set any kind of play, but somebody's got to make a shot. Jared Utah made a big, big basket there.
Were you surprised that they changed the starting lineup a little bit?
No. I mean, he basically announced it, didn't he? I mean, I read it in the paper, so, you know. I mean, you don't know who it was going to be, but he said he was going to shake it up, and he did.
Dominic Ewell hit a big three.
Who did he?
I mean, a young freshman like that coming in and.
I thought he was spectacular tonight. You know, his energy level, I mean, he handled the ball in the backcourt. He made one mistake. He tried to skip it against his own. I mean, he was really solid. He got a big-time offensive, two big-time offensive rebounds.
One more question.
Any advice to a 0-5 team?
You know what? I will tell you this. I really liked Richard's team. I told him that before the game. I mean, they could easily have been 3-1 coming into this game. I thought they had Purdue. I thought they had Ohio State. I mean, you know, the schedule wasn't kind to them out of the gate. But I think his young guys are coming around. You know, they could easily be, you know, 5-5. If they were 5-5 a couple weeks from now, I wouldn't be surprised. But that's what this league is. And that's why anytime you can win a game by 2, you're pretty happy about it.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
Iowa players by the locker room.